to call the meeting to order. The meeting is called to order. With that, we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Gayton.
Here.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell. Here. Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Dom.
Here.
Trustee Penny.
Present. We're all here. For Trustee Thomas is at home, so we need to pass remote participation under 3.2. So if someone would like to make that motion, and we could second it and pass it. Pat will make the motion. Is there a second? Ray has a second. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Dom.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Campbell. Yes. Trustee Gayton.
Yes.
Trustee Penny.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. How you feeling, Linda?
I'm hanging in there, a little iffy, but I'm okay. I'll make it.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. It'll be pretty soon, I hope.
Yeah.
For that, we need to appoint a secretary pro tem, which I have called Trustee Fritz to, Pat would volunteer to do that. But I need that a motion for that consideration.
I'll make that
Okay,
motion.
Bill has that motion.
I'll second.
As a second. On that, please call the roll for that.
Trustee Dom.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell. Yes. Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Gayton.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes. That motion carries unanimously. Okay, that moves us to roll number conservation ethic. Who hasn't done one for a while? Anybody?
Hold on.
You'll volunteer, thanks, Bill.
All right, so conservation ethic, goal number 6, to foster a conservation ethic among McHenry County citizens, helping all of us, regardless of the basis for our interest, to help a greater awareness of our role in and responsibility for the total community of life. The conservation ethic asks us to assume a moral duty to become educated about conservation issues and then to act on that information. The conservation ethic is an attitude that recognizes the importance of preserving the natural heritage of the county's open space. Goal number 4, to interpret and to promote the overall significance of natural and cultural resources and to promote public understanding and support of district land management practices.
Thank you. Lynn, would you like to do a reading of the conservation stewardship pledge, please?
Sure. We pledge to make a difference by standing up for our water, wildlife, way of life in McHenry County. Our quality of life in McHenry County depends on healthy and sustainable natural resources, thoughtfully developed cities and towns, a strong economy, and beautiful outdoor places to explore, discover, and recreate. Number 7, we will create opportunities for meaningful outdoor recreational experiences for people of all ages, cultures, and abilities.
Thank you. Good. I have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll do that.
Bill has that. Do I have a second? Pat has a second. Roll call.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Gayton.
Yes.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Dom.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Penny.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to recognition and presentation introductions. I'm guessing there's nobody here that's, when they're all online or whatever.
Correct.
So are you going to walk us through that?
So the first one we have this evening is a retirement of Linda Bryant, who was our accounting assistant. And Linda, after 6 years of employment with the district, and she had planned to retire a while ago, and she continues to hang on to help and not leave our accounting team, Andy and Jean, which is a small team. So we're appreciative. I believe she may be online. I don't see her, but there is a phone. And you have a resolution tonight to read and to pass. We're on.
So would you like me to read that now?
That would be one.
Okay, Linda, if you're out there, there may be some errors, not in the actual writing of it, but the fact that I don't have my glasses with me. So we'll see how this goes. There's just cheaters. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Sure. Whereas McHenry County Conservation District has protected over 25,606 acres of open space and 35 conservation areas, 59 miles of regional trails that provide access to more than 115 miles of integrated trail network, acts to restore its lands so that their ecological health, offers educational programs which encourage appreciation of the natural environment and a fundamental understanding of the environmental ethic. It develops its lands for the safe, quiet enjoyment and interest of McHenry County residents. And whereas the district is supported in its efforts by many dedicated staff and volunteers who engage in a variety of activities, including protection of natural resources and the flora, fauna, and people who share them, site and facility maintenance and improvement, natural area restoration, trail clearing and monitoring, wildlife monitoring and care, environmental, historical, and cultural interpretation, educational outreach programs, and many other endeavors. And whereas Linda Bryant began with the district on May 20th, 2015, working full-time in the administration and finance department as the accounting assistant. And whereas Linda Bryant processed approximately 9,500 vendor payments worth over $85 million over the last 6 years. And whereas Linda Bryant has saved the district time and money by actively converting vendors from paper checks to electronic ACH payments. During her tenure, the district went from 0 vendors paid electronically to 127 vendors set up for electronic payments. And whereas Linda Bryant was a key contributor to the implementation of the electronic timekeeping system, which created efficiencies at every level of the district. And whereas Linda Bryant has always been eager to help the district and other departments in any way she can, and she has volunteered at the county farm, the Festival of the Sugar Maples, and the Conservation Congress. And whereas Linda Bryant has brought the accounting assistant position positively hard work, dedication, and friendship to many employees, both current and past. She is the ultimate team player. And whereas Linda Bryant is looking forward to retirement and spending more time with her husband and their 2 grandchildren. And whereas Linda Bryant has decided to retire from her position effective January 28, 2021. Resolved that the officers and the Board of Trustees of the McHenry County Conservation District hereby express and convey their deep and sincere gratitude and heartfelt appreciation to Linda Bryant for her continued dedication to the mission of the district, and that this resolution be incorporated into the official records of the district, and that Linda Bryant receive recognition through this resolution. Witness whereof so unanimously will pass this shortly. So hey, congratulations, Linda. Are you there, Linda?
I don't think she's on. She was, I think her phone's out.
Oh,
Oh, was she the phone?
Yeah, we're missing a phone. I don't know if Andy has any. I don't
I know,
see
is
Linda.
Andy on?
Andy's on. Let's see.
I would just, again, offer a big congratulations first and a thank you for all the years of service Linda's put in. A great skill set, but better than, the most important thing that we're really going to miss, the shoes that are going to be really hard to fill, is the positive personality. She was just upbeat, very, very stable. It didn't matter what you threw at her. I think it really shined during 2020 and COVID. Most of the admin staff was working, almost completely remotely. But Linda stepped up and was willing to come in, and that she came in every single day, mostly to an empty office. So, in a very safe manner, but again, did whatever we asked her to do, never complained, never said anything negative. And then her flexibility staying with us. She was trying to retire in August, September. And that was a plan, but we had such a difficult time filling that assistant position that she said she was willing to stay on as long as it took to fill it. So thanks for everything you've done, Linda, and congratulations. Amazing job.
All right, well, thank you. And so hopefully Linda has a great retirement, and sounds like she has some plans with, she got 2 grandkids with, sounds great.
We need to move and have a second and a vote on the resolution.
Let's,
I move.
we have a motion from Lynn, is there a second? Ray has a second. Roll call.
Trustee Gayton,
Yes.
trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Dom,
Yes.
trustee Henning.
Yes. Thank you, Linda. Okay. We'll move us on to 7.2.
Okay, we have a special recognition for Sarah Rummel. And I believe Sarah has joined us, and we are very proud. Sarah Rummel, she has a new title. She is now Senior Landscape Architect. And why this is really important, she can now put some initials behind her last name. And in the state of Illinois, and this has been a licensure piece for landscape architects, but you cannot call yourself a landscape architect unless you've gone through the work, you've studied and taken the board exam. And so we are very pleased to have her. She is our only landscape architect on staff, and very proud of what she undertook on her own efforts to pursue this continuing education and advancement. I believe Amy Peters is on. I don't know if she wants to say something on behalf of Sarah, but we're very proud of her efforts and what she brings to the district.
I just want to congratulate her, and it's hard to say in a short amount of time how much effort it took on her part. Several years, obviously, in the making, just shows her commitment to professionalism and to designing and protecting the safety, the health, and the welfare of the public, and how fortunate the district is to have someone of her caliber working and every day, challenging and continuing to just move that forward. So congratulations, Sarah, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, want to say anything, or?
Sarah, I unmuted you. Did you have anything?
Just a big thank you. I appreciate it.
Next forward, recognition.
Recognition, Ed Collins is the recipient of the 2021 Dr. George B. Rabb Force of Nature. And we want to acknowledge and recognize him for this special honor. President Henning, you did join me for that reception, and it was great to see and to be part of that. So again, congratulations, Ed. Anything else?
No, I was going to talk about it a little bit in my president's report, but we can do it now. I really enjoyed the evening. But sometimes you sit in meetings and you wonder what they all lead to, and people who were award winners there that night, and they were not just people, but groups and everybody that have not just attended meetings, but got out and got things done. And it was interesting what was the passion for each of these groups or these people, and really shows when somebody decides that they're going to improve their part of the world, their little part of the world, or whatever it is, that they get out and really make the world for the rest of us. So it was a great evening, and Ed, it was for, I think, a real lifetime of work, and I thought that was great. So anyway, Ed, congratulations again, and would you like to say a few words to us?
No, just thank you. It was quite an honor to be nominated and then awarded. And I'll say what I said there. It's easy to come up with ideas, but the real award belongs to the the folks at the district here, from trustees down to everyone on staff, that makes those ideas a reality. So I was very much accepting it on behalf of everybody at the district, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed.
And next we had that same evening, the Excellence in Ecological Restoration Program gave out accreditations, and Glacial Park was accredited with a platinum level site accreditation, and being classified in any of the 4 top tiers from bronze to platinum is quite an accomplishment. Dr. Tom Simpson was the project lead on this, and I'll just read briefly a little bit about Glacial Park. Glacial Park is McHenry County Conservation District's most popular site. It is visited annually by more than 64,000 guests who hike or ride horseback along 8 miles of trails, fish the shoreline of the Nipissing. Ride snowmobiles or ski in winter, or canoe kayak the creek for more than 6 miles. The 3,500-acre park contains many spectacular glacial features, including caves, kettles, and rolling glacial moraine. Plant communities include a stagnant bog and many marshes, fens, prairies, and remnant oak savannas. The park has been under ecological restoration management since 1985. Early restoration focused on brush removal from the oak savannas and prairie restoration in former ag fields. By the 1990s, the resource management staff began extensive hydrological restoration, culminating in the remeandering and bank grading on 3.5 miles of the Nipissing Creek. More recently, the district worked with the Army Corps to repair stream banks and install riffles on an additional 3.5 miles of stream. So again, Glacial Park is one of the rated highest sites in the Chicago Wilderness Four-State region.
Nice.
So congratulations to the entire team.
No, and we have a new team member.
And Wendy, this is, I'll let you introduce. It's part of our marketing and education team.
Yes, so Maddie is here with us tonight. I'd like to introduce you, Madeline. She goes by Maddie Newbauer. She's our new marketing coordinator, now in her 4th week with the district. She is a marketing communications grad with a minor in environment, science, and culture from UW Eau Claire. I always want to say Eau Claire. She grew up in Woodstock, so she grew up in the neighborhood adjacent to Dewfield Pond, and she ran cross country on many of our trails. So in her cover letter, she wrote, which probably caught my attention, MCCD was fundamental in instilling my appreciation for the outdoors, so much so that I decided to pursue an education that could incorporate my passion for strategic communication and environmental studies. So you gotta love that. She brings a combination of overall marketing knowledge, publicity, promotion, some customer service and writing experience from her last internships and experiences through her college career. She comes with us a lot of creative energy. We are super excited and love having her on our team in just this short time. So Maddie, say a few words, say hello.
Thanks, Wendy. You covered a lot, but yeah, as she said, I lived in Woodstock for nearly 2 decades. I now live over the border in Wisconsin, so not too far away. But that said, just my familiarity with the sites across the county really did genuinely spark my interest in the environment. So I went on to pursue all those things that kind of made the perfect culmination for my spot in this role. And everyone's been very warm and welcoming, and it's been great, and it's a very good fit for me. So thank you guys.
Welcome.
Clap to her too. Clap.
Hey, very nice. All right, let's move us on to trustees report. Anybody have anything to report?
Okay, so I just wanted to, was able to go back to, attended both the neighbor information meeting on the bison at Pleasant Valley, as well as the bison release. And just in watching this unfold, I just wanted to commend staff on the bison grazing coming to our property. And just from the conception of the idea and the research that went into it and everything that came into play, and pulling together a proposal at kind of the right time when things really were coming together. And also making the RFP broad enough so that we could make sure that we weren't just targeting something that we really wanted to have, but making sure we were making the right decision for the land that we were trying to work with. It's interesting. I think what I understand, I could be wrong about this. I think, Liberty Prairie Foundation, we have a partnership with, was instrumental in at least alerting rooters to what we were trying to do. And which I think is wonderful. I've had an opportunity to meet Matt and Mary twice now. And I will tell you, they are very knowledgeable, they're very intelligent, they're very grounded, and they are the right people to work with bison. They're just very calm. And you get this sense in just talking to them that it was a really great decision. I think this is going to be wonderful going forward. Getting to the neighbor meeting, I know that was before, because this could be said about any event that I've actually gone to. I really feel like staff is a really great reflection on the district. I don't know, I've never been to a meeting where they get flustered or whatever. They're very professional, they're very gracious. They'll answer any question you want. No question is too big or too small. I gotta wonder if they ever have a bad day because it never comes through in these meetings. And so it was they did a wonderful job with that, and I felt it was great. So I appreciate the way that they just represent the district. It's wonderful. And anytime I go there to something that they're doing, I learn tons. So I know we just talked about it, but I did want to congratulate Ed on the Force of Nature Awards. Well deserved, and I understand that I know that things come together as a group effort, but you are very much a leader in this field. Also to Tom and the rest of the staff for the Glacial Park work. Something I noted in there is we talk about our employees as they branch out, like with Sarah and her certification and everything that people do to improve with their professionalism. One thing I had forgotten about is that our plant ecologist, Lori Ryan, is on the Excellence in Ecological Restoration Committee through Chicago Wilderness. So this is a way that our employees tend to get out there with these other regional groups and form the working connections that make these partnerships possible. So I shout out to Lori for her work in that area and any other staff that kind of does the same thing, because it really makes a difference. And I think my retirement is later.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to add to that too, also the YouTube that they put together with Bison was really fun to watch. So nice job there too.
Yes.
Anyone else? You good? Okay. My liaison. Oh,
A few things. So like I said, we have the county board meeting tonight, so we'll be voting on many different things. So tonight is the official vote for the Duke Energy Solar Farm. And it's also the vote appointing 2 people to the Coon County Drainage District. And we're also voting on the new precinct boundary adoption. So since they redistricted everything and since the census, they've drawn up new boundaries. And it's quite a change.
oh, really?
There's not many, I don't know if there's any boundaries that are the same. So that's interesting. We're also declaring a vacancy on the board in District 2 where Jess Phillips resigned because she moved out of district. And that means starting tomorrow, they will be accepting applications for filling that spot. There's also a resolution requesting the state to repeal the legislation they passed earlier in the year for dissolution of townships because it applies only to our county. And that's been a really big discussion we've had in law and government too.
To repeal that.
To repeal it, yes. And if they won't repeal it, then actually then apply it to everybody else in the county. So we aren't the test dummy for the state.
Yeah.
And so if anybody's interested in that conversation at the law and government meeting we had early in the month, it was interesting to see. The county has gone through so many different issues and trying to find things that will be challenging for us, the county, to take over certain things of the duties of the townships. And there's just so many questions. And we hope we filled them all, but not sure. And then finally, we will be voting on the second phase of the new broadband engineering and contract that we have with HR Green. So that is in the process and been to some interesting meetings about it. Trying to get more broadband out here and to the north. And then work with some companies, at least for that, what they call the middle mile. And then we'll see what happens to the last mile, which is to the houses and to the buildings. So there should be a full meeting tonight.
Does sound like it.
And happy holidays to everyone.
Okay, and I don't have anything else to report at this time. So then we'll move on to public comments, number 1. Wendy manning that or Wendy and watching that.
Yeah, I don't see.
Wendy, anybody out there?
Yes, I'm out here. I see nothing.
Please, seeing it. All right, great, thank you. All right, after that brings us to the consent agenda. So Pat, you need your glasses, Zach?
Yeah. I can't see anything.
All right, so Pat is going to make the motion on the consent agenda, so go right ahead,
All
Pat.
right, 12.1, approval of minutes of previous meetings. 12.1A, November 18th, 2021, committee of the whole. 12.1B, November 23rd, 2021, regular meeting. 12.1C, October 26th, 2021, executive session, regular meeting. 12.2, acceptance of the treasurer's report. 12.2A, November 30th, 2021. 12.3, second reading ordinance number 21-1009, an ordinance amending the comprehensive administrative policy and procedural manual, chapter 2.0, standards and conduct, incorporating section 2.06.02, whistleblower protection safety act policy. 12.4, second reading ordinance number 21-1010, an ordinance of 10 amending the comprehensive administration policy and procedural manual, chapter 7, land preservation and natural ecosystem management, section 7.03, wildlife propagation, rehabilitation and programming. 12.5, first reading, amendments to comprehensive administration policy and procedural manual, chapters 1, general overview, 2.00, governance, 3.00, employee organizational structure, and 4.00, general management. 12.6, first reading, amendments to personnel policy and procedural manual. 12.7, resolution number 21-100. Resolution authorizing the executive director to execute an agreement between the University of Illinois and the McHenry County Conservation District and a special use license agreement with the University of Illinois Extension and Illinois Fire Institute to host National Wildlife Coordination Group, NWCG, NWCGS-130 basic wildland firefighting training field day on March 10th, 2022, and NWCGS-2019 ignitions operations on March 23rd and 24th, 2022 at Lost Valley Visitor Center, Glacial Park Conservation Area.
Yeah, I'd like a second. Bill has a second. And then Lynn would like to make a clarification on 12.5 and something that she had made a change on the line, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think all I was trying to do was just make sure that it was, some of the things that I had looked to add to this was just to get clarity on it. So I've got notes on it, but it's in the manual itself, which is apparently in Dropbox. So one was just when we're looking at prospective candidates, just adding in the word expectations, but that's more what the county board does anyway. And I don't think it really applies here, but it's just also not just a time commitment, but what is other things that are expected in terms of the role. The other one was for orientation, it's just I know Ray agreed when agreed to do the IAPD boot camp at the beginning. It's not always available, but it is a great resource for just getting yourself introduced. Again, people have been on the board for a while now, so it's not really here. And I'm not, anyone can take it anytime. In fact, I ended up taking it again. So there's a lot of great information. You always learn something, but that was just put in there to try to encourage people to get that early on. So you have some of that information coming in. The respect and decorum, that's just a rewrite on number 5. It really didn't change the meaning. So that I really wouldn't worry about. And then there on section preparation for board meetings, it's added in agenda items requested by 2 or more sitting trustees shall be placed on the next board agenda if practicable or within a reasonable period of time following the request. And the only reason I put that in there is because there's really nothing in there that lets new trustees know that at any time, it really only takes 2 trustees to get something on the agenda. So if you look further or earlier in the thing and in the law, the idea is that the board president is responsible for setting the agenda. And this kind of ties back, and I know this is probably more information than you want, but it comes back from the Open Meetings Act. So the Open Meeting Act, we all are really concerned about not, violating that, and rightfully so, but it was never designed to discourage people from talking to each other. They really want trustees to be able to have conversations outside of the boardroom in order to facilitate board business. So, and to do that, so like on a 5-member board, you'll have 3 members as a quorum, 2 would be a majority, can't talk. So what they do for a 5-member boards is that any vote requires a 3. So that extends, we're no longer a 5 board, we're a 7-member board, but it extends to the fact that, well, if you're gonna allow them to talk, it has to be able to result in something if it needs to. So if you get together and you decide that there really is an important issue that needs to go before the board, you should be able to get that on the agenda. And I mean, it's not gonna, we're in a really good space right now. It's just, this is something that people, John does a great job in running the meetings. And so this is really more just this is what the law states, and to add clarity to our own policy. And I think that's all I was going to say on that. Yeah, because I think the idea is that to be able to talk outside the boardroom, obviously we want to conduct your business inside here, and we do that. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or any objections to. And obviously we have another reading, so if anyone has questions.
We have another reading next month, so if anybody has a question or anything, maybe we can get in here before the consent, or we can pull it off the consent agenda for more discussion.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, that, call the roll, please.
Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Dom,
Yes.
trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Henning.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, that will move us on to other board business, and the first other business is approval of bills. So Lynn, I will turn it over to you as treasurer.
Okay, so I am going to, first, I'm going to move that we approve the payment to Concert Up as indicated in the submission of bills pending report for the period ending November 30th, 2021.
So that's the motion. Ray has the second. Thank you, Ray. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Dom,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
Yes.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Hayden,
Yes.
trustee Henning.
And I'll abstain. So the motion carries 6-4 and 1 abstention. Okay, Lynn.
All right, I'm going to back up one because I kind of did miss it. We had 13.1A. We did not pull anything last time. I don't know if anyone's prepared to pull today. If we want to, we can just start that up in the new year as a New Year's resolution. It's not a bad thing to keep going. Oh, but you have one?
Yes.
Perfect.
I looked at it, so I let's.
Yes, since we've got
All right, we'll start earlier.
So this is Harrison and Associates. And the attached number was H4855. It was $1,800, something to do with appraisal and survey Girl Scouts.
Okay.
Anybody else have one?
I had one, but I can't find. It was in a credit card for Al's repair or $5,000.
Okay. I'm sure they can find it, but that
Maybe Andy can
description, they can
find
find it. They'll be able.
It was like, this month was the first time they've ever.
Okay.
So not a bad practice.
So
All right,
two of them there.
all right. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, then, I would like to move that we pay, that we have an approval of the payment of the balance of bills as indicated on the submission of bills pending report for the month ending November 30th, 2021.
The second. So Chris has the second. A roll call?
All right, trustee Dom,
Yes.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Gaten,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Yes, motion carries unanimously, so we can pay the bills. Very good. Right now, budget discussion. Are you leading us to anything new, or is this just opening it up in case they have something we'd like to discuss after last Thursday?
Well, both. I just have one thing that did come to our attention, as I shared before, we were planning as a staff. In the even years, we generally hold what we call a conservation congress. And the conservation congress will be a strategy that will help us as we focus on our framework, sustaining the dream of our user groups and delegates of the county. And so the staff, we're looking at doing something different for 2022. Normally it would be in February, but due to COVID, we did postpone that, and we had some dollars budgeted in 2022 for the event. So we would like to reappropriate the funds and budget in fiscal year 2023. What we're looking for is it would be an April event. It would be a Saturday. I'm sorry, this morning we had another discussion today. We're looking at an evening, a little bit different, a shorter program where we will bring in a speaker on the evening at the college, have a small reception, and then instead of doing the regular full day, half day, when we rotate into breakout sessions, the goal would be then to plan an ongoing conversation that we could have with delegates with different project groups that would come together over a 6-month period, and then come back together. We would develop this framework plan that would be in support that we would then bring back and be able to share with everybody around February of 2023. So we're putting together a budget right now of what that would look like. I believe in past years, what we've shared is the expense by the time you had food and everything else that required, it was about a $10,000 expenditure. Food is something I know many of the forums that are being held at the county, whether it be the one the college was just doing on recycling, they were actually paying people to come out to an event. I think we can make a great event. We're looking at bringing in a speaker, a futurist, someone that can speak about, climate and technology and really looking at the landscape going forward. So I will bring that back and package that, but I just wanted to let the board know that we're not spending those dollars, all of that was allocated for this year. We'll come back.
But it's not showing up in the budget you presented to us at all.
Not yet at all, no. And so this is, we were looking through where we're gonna pull this off at, and we've been learning that there's not time, we need more runway to do this, and figuring Earth Day around spring would be a good time to launch
So you're saying April of 2022.
2022, which would be in fiscal year 2023. It would just start the fiscal year, right?
Okay. All right.
Because we need time to pull this all together.
With the culmination of all the efforts coming in and then next year, February 24th. Like you were talking about over 6 months, or was it?
Well, it'd be a
It's
6
February
months,
of 23.
23. we
Oh,
have a
that might have been
presentation.
23, next year's 22.
The
I'm-
convening would happen in April,
Of this coming
of
April.
this coming April. Once we do the speaker and we kind of get everybody focused and together, we would have an ongoing conversation with them throughout a 6-month period, whether they're by Zoom or small focus groups and things like that. Again, being cognizant of COVID and the environment that we're working under. Again, pulling together a final report on that, we feel like it would be, the group felt that the engagement versus just a one-day feel good. And then what happens by engaging and with them and our groups within the community is part of the work that needs to be taking place as we're working towards the future of building that financial framework and sustainability.
Okay, so you're gonna try to get that to us shortly because it's going to be in next year or next month's vote.
Correct, right, and I will have that for you in January, we'll have fine tuned all the details, we're gonna be working. Actually, we've got some leads on some potential speakers. And again, I don't know the cost of those speakers, but we'll volley, but again, I wouldn't look to expending greater than what we've done in the past, which are when we've done it for $10,000 or less.
And who attends that?
We, all different types of organizations from our user groups, whether they be birders, snowmobilers, bicyclers, equestrian groups, agricultural community, health and wellness groups, local municipalities. So they're not just the choir, so to speak. We try to get a nice representation and to have that conversation with our constituent base. It keeps us it's engaging, and they've appreciated being part of it. And but we understand the limitations of COVID, and I think we can reduce some of the things because by putting it on an evening and not having a full day production, we're just spreading it out for better, I think, ongoing dialogue. And the three areas that I think we wanted to focus on was access for all, climate, and renewable energy, and then the third one being public health, which aligns with the strategic plan.
All right, well, if you can get that together, that'd be great. I was wondering what you were doing for Christmas.
Right.
Okay.
But that's the only budget. There were no other adjustments. We're gonna work on pulling that all together, and unless anybody else had anything from where we last left it.
All right, everybody else have anything else they'd like to discuss on the budget at this time? Good, right now? All right, thank you. Executive Director's Report.
Okay, just a few items. Over the meetings, we've had some really great conversations with our local legislators. We appreciate all their support as we put together, John, Shauna, and Amy Peters put together our ARPA funding for the tourism and travel, and they came out with letters of support as well as other local communities. So again, really appreciate that. Did have an opportunity to speak with Representative Wright and McHenry County State's Attorney Neely at the McCog event on our 300 West Arnold Engineering, and very appreciative of the district's work. Actually, Chairman Bueller was very supportive of the efforts that the district has made, that they are going to, I believe, file an action after the holidays. So our efforts in advocacy are at work. So again, thank you everybody for your phone calls and activity on that. We've also been working, Representative Wright and Senator Wilcox have been working with IDNR. We do have a grant outstanding and with the Capitol Museum grant, and they're working through that, and hopefully it's on the docket so we can get a check cut for the $400,000 that's the district and paid all the bills. So that's a reimbursement to us, and then we can get that in our hands before we close out our fiscal year this year. So again, appreciate their efforts and all of that. As far as the January conference, we do send out a request for our legislators to attend the luncheon, and we are getting some responses back. And so with trustees too, if there's an interest in doing that with legislators, we collaborate with Lake County Forest Preserve, King County Forest Preserve, but then also the park districts that are in attendance. And so that's a great opportunity to get the legislators here. We do a lot of that, but it's a great opportunity to meet one-on-one. So that event is in late January. And then the last thing under Executive Director's Report, I did want to share, as we just got an update this afternoon, I've been reporting on where we've been with COVID-19 and the Omicron variant. And we were at a hold. OSHA had released some information as far as a public agency, private agency with over 100 employees was going to require mandated vaccinations or screening. And there was a stay put in place. The notice that came out today is that in the Sixth Circuit ruling of the Supreme Court, the stay has been lifted. And so they're going to new compliance dates required with being effective, and organizations will have to demonstrate that they're moving towards that by February 9th, 2022. So for the district, right at the time, we will not have 100 employees, but as we move into summer with seasonal, we will have 100. So, which will mean that there will be actions that we will need to put in place. Our pandemic group will meet early January, right after the holidays. And then what will happen is a decision for compliance will either be showing a vaccine, mandating a vaccine, or they'll have to go through the testing and do fully vaccinated or test weekly for COVID. And that will begin no later than February 9th, 2022, if we reach that 100 employee threshold.
Did they say what kind of test?
It just, we'll get more information from this, but it's tested weekly for COVID. So that means you have to test negative to go into the workplace, and how all of the process and procedure, we're gonna, obviously this is just coming out, so the devil's in the detail, right? To what this is talking.
It keeps moving about and what the threshold will be and what the, how often will be tested and where.
Well, I think it's an antigen test, which is a home test, as opposed to a PCR test. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
We have to take that, we have to take that test. Where there's somebody where your employee witnesses you taking it versus you just taking it, saying you took it at home and.
Well, it may be necessary to be a witness, but I think the efficiency of the antigen test is that the results are available in 15 minutes.
Right.
Okay, so that's like a home.
Yeah.
Right, but I didn't know. I mean, maybe consider it one home if they're negative.
Well, maybe after, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the documentation.
So more stuff. So OSHA, and then what happens is the Illinois Department of Labor, they usually adopt the federal rules about 30 days after the publication of OSHA, and so that I think it's only going to know that there's been a lot of focus of universities and schools and kind of going backwards after the holidays and kind of approaching a potential hot period here, and so we work through that. But I will keep everybody apprised on that and what that direction is. And we can make it work, actually. So,
That's everything.
that is all.
Okay. This is the committee assignments. Supposed to reports, conferences. Anybody gone to any conferences or meetings? Probably not. Okay. Fox River Ecosystem.
So the rest, well, I think it's a nice sized group, but they're sitting in front of a bonfire at one of the homes of somebody on our committee for prep. And so that's this evening, that's the holiday party.
Oh.
Yeah, and apparently it's out kind of fairly large property where it's kind of away from everything and big bonfire and kind of enjoying their evening. So
Maybe they'll have hot toddies and stuff. I was gonna say, hot toddies. Why else the wind's blowing like 40 miles? Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea how this works. But anyway, so hopefully they're enjoying it. Then our in January is a membership meeting, and it's elections and programs. Every month they do a program. This one is about, and I won't get too far into it, but it is very interesting. And I believe Joanne Clay might be participating in this from our county, but there's a national pollutant discharge elimination system. They're in their second phase, and I guess apparently this thing keeps changing. And really what it's designed, it's a nationwide mandate that kind of is intended to preserve and protect and even improve upon surface water quality from like stormwater runoff. And I think that there are supposed to be like at a minimum 6 things that they have to commit to. It really affects, and it's called MS4, and I don't remember what the 4 S's are. It's like storm, sewer, but it impacts most municipalities that have that kind of sewer system. And so mostly urban areas, but they have to have a minimum of 6 things that they have to comply with. It's and so there's a program coming up in January that's going to have local staff, Joanna from our county, Rob from Kane County. They're going to talk about how our agencies are addressing those requirements. You know, one being just one of the compliance things is just public education and getting people to understand that every little thing that goes down that storm sewer is going directly to a river or stream or right into our water system. It is not getting filtered. So that's what we're gonna be doing on Monday, not Monday, January.
Okay, thank you. Kishwaukee River ecosystem, right?
No meeting this month, but we will have a meeting at the beginning of February. January.
January, okay.
I can just say that I was able to listen in on the webinar that related to the Kishwaukee River Ecosystem Partnership. And I believe it was with the McHenry County Defenders. This was on December 3rd. And the trigger for this was, I guess there's an intermodal hub planned for development near I-39 and Baxter Road. And the drainage for that would go into the Kishwaukee River and Killbuck Creek, which I wasn't familiar with. So they basically talked about stormwater issues, and the principal presenter was someone named Dennis Draper,
Demonstrator.
yeah, from Geosyntech Consultants. And he had a nice presentation, about how you can have a commercial development, and if you plan ahead, you can incorporate the principles of best practice, best management practices that involve bioswales and other features such as our
Permeable.
permeable, yeah, right. To improve the management of water off of hard surfaces. It didn't seem like they had, they didn't go into what the current zoning requirements are there, or what local agencies they needed to deal with. Someone from the Woodstock, or someone from the county, McHenry County, was on the Zoom call, and they referenced the McHenry County stormwater regulations, which I guess have recently been completed, and they thought were seemed to be quite satisfactory if applied to this type of development. So I found it interesting, and I don't know what levers they're going to try to pull, or how they're going to proceed administratively, but they are trying to focus attention on this potential commercial development. So,
Great.
Thank you. Okay, Chicago Wilderness.
There's no additional report beyond that. We will have a meeting January 19th is our quarterly meeting.
How many people were at the meeting? Do you have any idea what that room holds?
Yeah, we had, I would say there was just about 80 or so.
It seemed like even more than that.
There could have been, it's around 80, maybe 100, but it was a good representation.
Henry County Farm Bureau.
We had a meeting on December 8th and had a quorum. Glad for that. Took up most of the night, was you had two gentlemen from Pleasant Grove Solar Farm, and of course they're trying to smooth everybody over for the vote. A lot of questions asked and answered. The other things we had, they're coming up. They're having out on the road program. It's for people with trucks, RJ, and they have somebody that comes in, state, from Bureau, and it's change all the time. That's March 8th. And then there's an internship available. Anybody that get an internship, deadline for the application is March 11th.
So is the Farm Bureau board, they're neutral on the solar farm, I think. Elizabeth, you're up next.
Okay, conference, mark the calendars. Nobody signed or attend any educational sessions, January 27th through the 29th. Usually the Illinois Association of Conservation Forest Preserve Districts will meet that Friday, which is the same day as the legislative luncheon. So once that gets set, I'll let anybody know if it's coming down this Thursday. I do not believe it'll be a hybrid remote Zoom, and I think it'll be in person only unless something still. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Foundation, they haven't met since the last time we met, have they?
No, they'll meet again on January 11th for their annual meeting.
Okay, they're meeting January. Todd?
They had their holiday gathering, which I did not attend, but it was the.
I did attend. It was a smaller than normal, but it was a nicely done, safe event at the Holiday Inn. Again, a great opportunity to speak with elected officials and other trustees. I did pass out some of our 50th anniversary books of those. I've been making rounds to the village offices on that. And so, yeah, it was a nice small group, but some great conversations.
Green drinks?
Okay, so I'm just gonna read this because I don't. I'm gonna try to summarize it, but it's just, the Defenders Waste Reduction Team has been focusing on reducing waste at the source. Specifically single-use plastics, food waste, and styrofoam, and with the focus being centralized on restaurants, food pantries, townships, and farmers markets. However, we also do our best to reduce waste as individuals. By making small changes in our everyday lives, we can make a big impact. During this presentation, we will talk about reusable items you can use instead of single-use items. And so it'll just be really kind of, that's a big driver for that. Recycling. And that's for, it's the first Wednesday of every month. We will continue the hybrid because we do have people who would like to attend, but really just are not feeling comfortable coming out yet. And but you can come in person. I think we did up it to 40. I don't know if that will change now with things moving in a different direction, but we'll see.
We hit 40, you use up all your spots.
We had a good crowd the last time, and we only had a couple people on Zoom, just because I think the idea was they thought that because it was going to be a holiday thing where they were going to do Chris Lake Brewery was there, what was the, I forget the line, Montera, but and then Zach talked, but I think each of them really talked very well about just the efforts that they put into the environmental aspect of producing. And so I thought it was a very interesting talk, and that one's out there on YouTube anyway. For anyone who's interested. So we got, our crowd was bigger, but our Zoom was smaller. So.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you're getting your 40.
Well, that was only, yeah, that was only our first time, so I have no idea. I think people are just gonna get more cautious when it comes to background and numbers. So.
Indeed. Okay, and bicycle and pedestrian plan. John?
Thank you, President. One interesting thing that came out of that committee in the last few weeks was they have the health department, the McHenry County Health Department has issued a survey. They call it a safety survey, but really it's specifically targeting smoking in public open spaces and parks. And they're looking for the community's feedback on it, on what people's perceptions are about whether people should or should not be able to smoke in parks, where in parks they might be able to smoke, because they kind of segregate out like playgrounds versus trails and things like that. Again, it's all about promoting healthy living and things like that. And are people intimidated by secondhand smoke or things like that? I suppose it was about 10 questions, took me probably about, all of 5 or 10 minutes to do. And if you want, we can get that link. I'm sure that Megan can get that link out to you folks if you wanted to take that. But that's all I had to report. It's a pretty interesting survey.
Thank you. I'll look for that. A visit McHenry County.
No report.
Okay. And anybody have any other outreach contacts?
I had one that came up. Yeah, so it kind of came out of the EDC dinner, but ended up making connection with the Director for Strategic Partnerships with not-for-profit resources. And so I was very intrigued because they do a lot of board development program. I know the vendors have got their people there a couple months ago. And so it was kind of interesting what they were doing. And then I got talking to Shauna and the two of us then ended up meeting with this director and had a great discussion a couple days ago. So I really appreciate, Shauna coming along. She really had a lot of great questions, kept the conversation real focused. And just in terms of what kind of resources are available for a not-for-profit board. We have our own access to IAPD, so we have different similar types of things, but so it'll be interesting to see what kind of opportunities are out there going forward.
Did you say you had one more?
I did, yeah, we were requested, the Spring Creek Watershed Plan Group is doing an update, so they reached out. The Spring Creek Watershed actually spans 4 counties. McHenry County only has about a quarter of the watershed area, but it crosses into Cook, King County, and Lake. And so what they're looking to do is, Ed's gonna sit in on the first meeting just to kind of get a feel for it, and then we'll determine what amount of time and effort that we'll devote to it. Again, it's just a small fraction. We get these requests that are coming up from different units of government to participate in all their planning efforts, and then we just have to prioritize because it's difficult for us to be involved with every action in full detail. So
I'm sorry,
I think we're priced.
I didn't hear you, Elizabeth. Which corner? Which
It's
section?
the Spring Creek Watershed Partnership. It's called Spring Creek Watershed. And so it includes about 4,000 acres. And so we're just in a very small quarter of it. Right. So, if we include residents in McHenry County, Fox River Grove, Algonquin Township, and Barrington Hills.
All right, that brings us to public comments 2. Wendy, is there anyone out there?
I see nothing.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. All right, anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss or anything they'd like to wrap up right now?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone, yes.
Too.
Yeah. All right, with that, I would take a motion to adjourn. Bill and Chris. So that's motion in the second. A roll call, please.
Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Peyton,
Yes.
trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Dom,
Yes.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Henry.
Yes, meeting is adjourned.